Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with the range report on the Ruger P95dc in 9mm. This is a polymer framed handgun with a steel barrel, steel slide, double action, single action, and the DC stands for decocker. So the series of pistols came out, and the first one was the P85. It was going for the military trials, and they obviously didn't win. The 92 they came late to the party. The Beretta 92 FS and the SIG P226 kind of had a corner on the market because they were there on time. And while this was a good firearm, this wasn't a gun that did anything particularly better than either of those two guns. And since they were late to the party, they were kind of out on the street on that deal. And as the years went by and they sold this gun on the commercial market, they started doing some improvements to the gun, and this is kind of one of the later variants of the gun. And by the time they made it to the P95, this is a polymer lower on this particular firearm. Now, if you check out my first impressions video, I went ahead and put a link in the description below. You'll know that this is the first firearm that I ever purchased with the Bucket's own dollars. And I love this firearm, but I started to become a gun guy, and I didn't fire it very much anymore, and I kind of got into some different things. I ended up trading it off. And so when I had an opportunity to pick this firearm up, I was excited to bring this back to you guys so you guys could know a little bit more about the Bucket and some of the history of what he did. And I really like this gun because it has this cool, we usually think of it as a German plum finish, and I really like it. I think it's different, makes the gun unique. And I went and took this gun to the Knapp Weaponry today. Unfortunately, the big baby Bucket was not with me today, so I don't have any videos. Sorry, fellas, for any sadness that may bring to you. But I went ahead, and these are my first 5 shots at 7 yards at the Knapp Weaponry, and you just don't get much better than that. Really stoked with how that turned out today. And then, just for fun, I went ahead, and this is a body size target. Now, I save on my targets. This is 50 rounds, and they're just all, clustered here at center mass. I had 3 little flyers. Don't worry about those fellas up there. That was just me shooting a little quicker than I needed to. But again, this is at 7 yards. Really excited about that. And this is just a great firearm. So what would I say as far as recommendations on this firearm? First, the big glaring negative that a lot of people are going to see is this texturing. This is a very slick polymer, very mild texturing. I could see how people would feel uncomfortable. You might have to get some Talon grips, some grip tape on that if that's your thing. But for a home defense gun, if you're going to have it in your house, I don't think that's going to be a huge problem. I will tell you that the purchase that you get on this gun every single time, it just feels great in the hand. It's a natural pointer. I point it very well. The trigger, the single action is real nice, a little bit of creep, and then it just clears up for you real nice. As far as the trigger reset, it's a little long, but you find it. It's auditory. You could feel it. Then there's a little bit of that take up, and then you're back to more pew. I like it a lot. As far as the decocker, I do like, the DC is the only one that's going to have the decocker where it's not a safety decocker. The double action is long. It doesn't stack, but it is long and it is heavy, so it is acting as the safety on this firearm. But I will tell you, I don't shoot double actions particularly well, and I have found that this particular sickle style hammer allows you to pull through real nice. And these shots have 5 decocker shots in them, so one of these may have been a decocker shot. but they're all still on target. And, you know, that's a pretty tight group, even with a person that will admit they are not strong on a double action trigger pull. So I am really, really excited about this firearm. It's like a 92 FS or a P226. It's going to be a thick gun. And this is a pretty small one. This is going to be like a P320 size as far as from the length perspective going, but it does carry large. So if you're going to carry this gun, you know, it's going to print a little bit more than, you know, some of the newer aged guns. But what I'll tell you is, every time you grab a hold of this gun and you pull it and you draw it and you focus in on it, that gun is going to point towards your target 100% of the time. This new micro compact, where they're the single stack or stack and a half, you can really over grab. You can grab your firearm and not have the right grip on it and not bring it up to target, where a good old-fashioned double stack, your hand is going to naturally come to it. It's going to give you point of aim, point of impact, real well. And I like this firearm for that reason. As far as the mag release goes, it is very intuitive. I will tell you, it is kind of small, and my hands are not a small set of hands, but they're not super large, so I can't do it naturally with the thumb. But what I practiced today is using almost like my VP9 style of, with my trigger side finger, using my trigger finger to push down on it, and I feel like I can get that out better than bang, 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 slide locks back, having to readjust my grip to get my thumb there and then put it back in. I feel that with some training, you know, slide locks back, I could drop it that way, put it back in, use my thumb, and be ready to get back into action. This is a very, very good firearm. Anybody that really is thinking about appendix carry, really just thinks that they like the manual arms of a double action, single action firearm. Anybody that tells you to stick their nose up at the P series of Ruger pistols is really sending you in the wrong direction. I really like this pistol. I'm really glad I own this pistol, and I would recommend it to anybody that's thinking about buying a double action, single action pistol. I want to thank everybody for supporting this channel. I know it's been a few days since I've had a chance to post anything. As a special education teacher in the public education field, I do get busy with the 4 baby buckets and all the coaching and the other things that I do. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being patient with me as I walk through this journey, and I hope to keep bringing you good content. And you stay classy, YouTube. Little middle baby bucket, do you want to live in California?
No!
Why?
Because I'm not a communist.